Hi, Monica. I am on the other side of the camera. We're going to watch Mr. Grizz. You're going to see he's trembling a little bit. He has tried to get off place a couple times, and of course, when he gets off, I come over and I put him right back on. So that's kind of a bummer because he doesn't want to be on place right now. But that's like right now, in order for him to earn his freedom, because he is incapable of like handling the amount of freedom that he's had so far in your house and in my house, which means like he runs off and pees places or he doesn't come and called or whatever. He doesn't get the freedom of being in my house without having a leash on and without being tethered. So this is one of the things that I wanted to touch on. So tethering is going to be your best bet. So you can see I have this leash, place attached to the banister here. Now he could definitely squeeze through there, and ideally you wouldn't have a spot where he could just squeeze through, but he can only go so far as this leash, right? And for Smokey, I'm going to pull him out and do the same thing. And I'll do a little time lapse of them. Like I said, it's going to be really boring hanging out on place, really boring watching them because they're just going to be hanging out on place, right? And practicing maintaining the behavior. And one of the things I said, I'm not sure if I said in your video or not, but just to reiterate, if you never use place at home, totally fine. I don't care. It's not necessarily about the fact that he's learning place here, but that they're learning how to stay in behavior, and that they have responsibilities, right? And sometimes that comes along with, if you don't follow through on your responsibilities, then I'm going to come over and fix you, right? And that's where we're going to get drops in attitude. He doesn't want to be up on the place, but that's not like that is what I've asked him to do. And because that's the behavior that I would like you guys to perform whenever your dogs are eating, or whenever you guys are eating, go Beetle, is I want them to practice leaving us alone, being on their own, and giving you guys space, because they don't get to just come and investigate all the food. Also, on that note, no more human foods whatsoever for them, ever. They should only be getting dog food or dog treats from now on. No human food or anything like that. Because right now, like looking back, we've talked about how they nibble at the girls' hands, right? They think that food belongs to them. So we need to establish from now on, you get your food from your bowls or you get your food from like dog treats that I give you, right? Grizz definitely has a little bit more of a like sensitive tummy. So his treats, I've tried to give him some like various treats and they all upset his tummy and give him diarrhea. So when he's here, he's only getting kibble too. And I don't give them any of my human food ever. So that's kind of what we're working on today. I'll show you with Smokey too. Just showing them the picture of being on place, staying on place, and tolerating being up there. Yeah, and it's kind of a mood killer. But yeah, sorry. This is what you have to do. You can't be trusted. You steal food, you jump on the counters. Yeah, all that stuff. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. I'm just going to do a little time lapse and then I'll get Smokey out. Okay, so sorry, I was having a conversation with my husband. Didn't want to record that. But as you can see, we've got Mr. Smokey sitting up here too. Smokey has a lot more independence. This is where I'm saying like he's kind of an old man. So he's got a lot more of his own independence. He's not nearly as worried about the fact that he's not able to come over and join me. So you're going to have more issues, I think, with Grizz, just keeping Grizz on place. And that's why I'm like, sometimes it's just better if you just set a bed nearby and you don't tell them to place. You just put them on the tether and then they can choose to go on the place or choose to go on the bed if they so want to. That way you don't have to hold them accountable. You don't have to come over. I've told him to place. So now, because I've told him to place, it is on me now, just like it would be on you, to maintain him on place. If I didn't want to manage him and I just wanted to like eat my food and relax a little bit, then I would just put him on the tether and leave him there and let him make his own choices. When they go up onto the place, usually I'm going to use the leash to lead them up there. I would almost bet with both of your boys, because they are master avoiders. And this is what you're going to have issues with when they come home a ton, is they're just going to decide they don't want to do the thing. And then if you don't have a leash on them, then you are going to be chasing them around. So if you don't have a leash on them, that's your first mistake. That's your first thing that you messed up. The first thing you should have on them, if you plan to ask anything of them, is a leash. And honestly, that is how it's going to be for a little while. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say that they're going to be able to come home and be perfect and obedient and everything. I think you're going to probably have a leash on them for at least a few weeks, if not more. And that's going to get you the best success. If you choose not to do that, you're just going to struggle in areas that you wouldn't have struggles in if you had a leash on, right? That's just point blank. So it's kind of like choose your own adventure, how you want to do it, right? I have lots of dogs that stay with me and live with me. I have 3 of my own. My husband has 4 dogs. My roommate has 1 dog. The way that we're able to live in a house with multiple dogs, that many dogs, that's 8 dogs, plus any dogs that come and stay and board, right? Is by having dogs drag leashes. Of course, my adult dogs, like none of my adult dogs are dragging leashes now, but every single one of the dogs that live with me dragged a leash around for the first several months. I mean, my puppies, they probably wear a leash for a whole year, because I want to make sure that I am able to clean up any behavior that I can. I am not interested in having to do what you're now having to do, and it's not, you didn't know any better, right? We make mistakes, we don't know any better. But because you didn't have the knowledge that you needed in order to raise the dogs that you wanted, these are the dogs you got, right? That's why you're sending them off to training, because you want them to be different, right? So we need to have that approach, that in order for them to be different, we also have to approach it differently. We also have to follow those directions, right? And make sure that we're setting that up. Because if we go about it, if you go into, like, they come home and then you just do exactly what you've done before with them, just like, letting them do whatever they want, not having the leash on them whenever they come out of their kennels, different things like that, then you're just not going to have as much success. That's just kind of what it is. So, yeah, it is dinner time for the 2 of them. So I'm going to go put Smokey up so he can eat his dinner, since Grizz is already in there eating his. Okay, we'll see you later.